Hello everyone, Tina here. I hope your day's going wonderful. Thank you so much for joining me. We're going to create a Christmas card today for PAPERTREY Ink, and we're using some new items that just arrived over at the shop. There's a new stencil set. There's a few others, but this one here is called the Geometric Snowflakes. This stencil set is for A2 panels, and the nice thing is there's two different stencils in this set. You get the larger snowflake that is really pretty, and then you also get a smaller snowflake. We're going to be using the smaller one on our card today. It's sticking to my package because I had already used Pixie Spray behind it. Pixie Spray is like a low-tack adhesive, and so I have it on the outside of my storage envelope here. But it's really pretty stencil we'll be using. For our images, we're going to be using some dies. This is the Trees of Cheer die set. Now, if you need a Christmas tree die set, I think this is it. Not only are these fun, and there looks like there's a lot, but it's nice because you can mix and match, but some of these have layered elements. For example, let me take one out. This one here, now you don't have to layer them, but you can layer them for added dimension. Like this one here is a 3-piece tree set. You could use this one on your own. You can use this one by itself, and then you have the tree topper. So this is a 3-piece or a 3-layer Christmas tree. We're actually going to use this one today in our project. But there's also this one here. This one would be great on its own, but then you have this one actually has 4 layers. Let me grab them all out for you. But you can see all 4 layers. And the nice thing is this would make a great Christmas tree. This one would too. You could probably even get away with this one, but you can also layer all 4 of them together. There is a sentiment in this set. I kept it together with one of the attachment pieces or attachment metal, but this says Merry Christmas. To me, this is a very almost animated sentiment. You have like elegant sentiments or black sentiments or scripty, and to me this is more animated. It's more cartoony, I would say. So we're going to use this. I just love this, and this is our Merry Christmas. And the nice thing is if you just want to use Merry, you can, and if you just want to use Christmas, you can, and use a secondary sentiment with it. Now, along with the trees in the set, those aren't the only ones. Here and here there are some trees that aren't layered, like this one here has some nice line detail. It's actually debossed detail. You have a tall skinny one that has really pretty like a snowy look to it, and you have this one that has some circles on it. There's presents in here and stars, lots of snowbanks, and then there's lots of different tree trunks. This tall skinny one too is a layerable one. It's a 4-piece layer. There's layer 1, 2, 3, and 4. So you even have the little North Star, which is nice. But I'm gonna use these 2 tree trunks for my card project today. So if you need a tree die set, the Trees of Cheer die set for PAPERTREY Ink will fit the bill, I promise. We're gonna take out our snowbanks too. I have mine on a magnetic sheet for storage, and it works out great. Some of them I haven't separated yet, you can see here. But lots and lots of different trees, and I love that there's presents too. There's some smaller snowbanks that you can use, but I like the ones that have the etched detail in there. This one has like a little dotted detail. Really pretty. So we are going to put this off to the side and grab some cardstock. Okay, we have 2 shades of blue. We have Aqua Mist, and then we have Hawaiian Shores. And for these, we're going to use our smaller tree. The nice thing about this smaller tree is there's some line detail on the very bottom. So each of the trees are very unique in itself. And I'm not going to separate these. I kind of like when they're together so I know what goes to what. But I'm going to die cut out the larger one with the Hawaiian Shores, and then the second layer with Aqua Mist. The top layer I'm going to go back with white cardstock, and I will die cut that out. Now we have this tree here, and I thought we'd create, since this reminds me of animation or cartoony, I thought we would make some colorful trees. That's why I have my pink cardstock. This darker pink is Raspberry Fizz. we'll take the largest layer and die cut this out. We have a lighter pink, it's Hibiscus Burst. We'll die cut our second layer. Third layer, we're going to use Sweet Blush. And our top layer, we're going to make a snowy top. And I'll die cut this out with white cardstock. So let's go ahead, and along with my snowbanks, we'll die cut out. And I'm going to die cut out my Merry Christmas with some white cardstock as well. For my tree trunks, we're going to go basic and go with Classic Craft. And I do have a piece of fun foam, or a piece of foam adhesive. I'm going to die cut out my Merry Christmas with foam too, just to give it a more playful look. And since we are die cutting, I have some vellum, and then I also have some more white cardstock. We're going to bring in the Love to Layer circles. And I'm going to take the largest and the middle size, and I'm going to die cut out the largest with vellum, and then with the scalloped dotted piece I'll die cut this out with white cardstock. Sometimes when I have the Love to Layer ovals or squares, I like to center them on my white panel here because I can use the negative piece later on. Today's card we're just going to use the positive, but centering it on your cardstock, you could use this outer layer as a frame. I'm a frame girl. I like frames. Okay, so we'll die cut this out, and then lastly, along with our Merry Christmas and our heels and our treetops, I'm going to take the PAPERTREY INK Bows Galore die set. This came out last month's release. Love this. And I'm going to use this little bow here. This is a layerable bow set. And I'm going to die cut out some white bows with my white cardstock also. We're going to create a snowy background, so lots of white in our card today. I'm going to run everything through the die cut machine, and I will be right back. We have everything die cut, and we're going to start by taking our scalloped Love to Layer oval, and we're going to adhere it to our vellum oval, and I'm just going to use my tape runner for this. Eventually I'll put some foam adhesive behind it. This is going to make a great background for our card. Now we have our snowbanks, and then we have our Merry Christmas. We have our bow, which I'm going to just add one dot of glue at the very bottom. And oops, that's a big dot. And then I'm going to go ahead and layer my bow, so this is good to go. I'm going to keep it white. I just like adding one dot, because this way I can actually fluff up the bow. Let me show you. You see how there's a little bit of dimension there? And then our bow is good to go. We'll put that off to the side. To create the Christmas tree is very easy. I'm going to use my glue, but of course if you want to use your tape runner, you can. I'm going to take my first layer. We're going to add our, this is Raspberry Fizz. We'll take Hibiscus Burst, flip it around. Now if you want to add foam tape behind here, you could for even more dimension, but by the time you add 4 layers, it's pretty dimensional. And then I'm going to make sure they're layered evenly here. And then I'll take my Sweet Blush. We'll add that. I just lined it up using the very top layer. And then we are going to top it off with our snowy layer. We'll flip this around. Add a little bit of glue, and this goes at the very top. After we have all 4 layers, isn't that cute? And you can go with any colors. You could make a rainbow tree if you wanted. Greens would be absolutely beautiful, but we're going to go with some bright colors. I'm adding a little glue behind it. I'm going to take my tree trunk, and you know what? You can mix and match tree trunks. There's a long skinny tree trunk. There's a smaller skinny one. There's no right or wrong with the tree trunks, which makes it nice that you can customize them. So tree number 1 is good. We're going to make our next layer Our next tree is similar, but there's straight edges on here, and then there's some embossed lines or debossed lines on here. We're going to go add our snow top layer. In our Trees of Cheer die set, there's also some small dots that you can use as ornaments, which is really nice. Once again, I'm going to flip this over and I'm going to add a little glue, and this way we can add the trunk of our tree. And you know, while we're at it, let's flip these over. Let's add some foam squares behind here so they're ready to go. Really cute. We're going to put these with our oval, and then we're going to work on our Merry Christmas. For our Merry Christmas, I'm going to do a little bit of ink blending. So to do that, we need some inks. So I'm going to bring in my Hawaiian Shores. We're going to ink blend our sentiment with two inks. I have Lovely Lady, and then I also have Hawaiian Shores. And we're going to create a three-tone look with white being in the middle. I'm bringing in my finger daubers. And somebody asked if I have different finger daubers from my oxide inks to my regular inks, and I do. These are just specifically the inks daubers that I use for PAPERTREY ink, and then I have a different set for my oxide inks. But we are going to use Hawaiian Shores. I actually have these labeled. We're going to take Lovely Lady, ink up our finger dauber here, and go over the very bottom of our Merry Christmas. And I'm going to go about 1/3 way up. So we have Lovely Lady on the very bottom. Let's zoom in a little bit, like so. About 1/3 of the way up here. And then I'm going to make a little room on my craft mat here, and we're going to take our Hawaiian Shore, flip around our sentiment, and we're going to do the top half the same way that we did the bottom, leaving a white strip down the middle. I think that's going to be nice, fun, and playful. And snowy. Okay, so we have our Merry Christmas. We're going to keep the inks because we're going to do some stenciling with these. So I'll set these aside. But here is our Merry Christmas. I think that looks really nice. Now, after we have this done, I'm going to go ahead and adhere this just using some glue to our foam. This is going to give our sentiment a little bit of dimension. Now, if you don't have foam, what you can do is die cut out. Since I love that everything is attached, you know, you don't have to worry about spacing. The die does that for you. But if you don't have the foam, what you can do is die cut out 2 or 3 of these and stack them together for a little bit of dimension. So there is our Merry Christmas. I'm going to zoom back out because we're going to do a little stenciling with our geometric snowflakes. Let's make a little bit of room. If you wanted to, you could do your ink blending on a A2 panel and then put it on your card base. But I'm going to go directly on my card base, so I'm going to open it up, and then since I don't trust myself right at the seam, I'm going to go ahead and add some post-it note tape, and we're just going to block that off. That way I know I'm not going to get ink on the back of the card. We're going to keep it pretty. Now I'll take my smaller geometric snowflake stencil. We will line this up. Now if you don't have a low-tack adhesive like a pixie spray, you can just tape it down. You could actually use your post-it tape to tape this down just so it doesn't shift. The inks that I'm going to be using are the same inks we used for our sentiment, and so we are going to use those same finger daubers. And I'm going to go ahead and add some of our aqua mist up at the very top, and I'm just lightly going over it. I want to keep the background a little bit on the softer side. So we have a little bit of color at the very top, and I went just a little bit below the halfway mark. After we have our Hawaiian Shores, we're going to take our Lovely Lady, and then we'll ink this up. And we are going to go over the bottom half of this. So we have Hawaiian Shores and Lovely Lady. I'm going to just add a little bit more of a fuchsia. So to do that, I'm bringing in Raspberry Fizz. And I just want to add a little bit of a darker pink at the very bottom of my stencil here. This, I think, is going to go really well with our Raspberry Fizz cardstock. Just kind of highlighting that bottom area. Now we get to do the reveal. I'm going to go ahead and lift up my stencil. And how pretty is that? I think that looks just gorgeous. We're going to remove our Post-it note tape. And you know what? You can save this. You can actually put this back on the roll and use this again because you didn't get too much ink on here. So the front of our card is done. Since we don't have any purple in our trees, for the most part, that's the purple area is going to be covered, which is nice. I'm going to lightly tack this closed so we can continue on with our card. We have our ovals. Now we need to add our sentiment. So let's add our Merry Christmas. We're going to add our Christmas first. Before I add my Merry, I do want to add a little color in our background, and I'm going to use the ink that's left over on my Hawaiian Shores. And we're just going to add a slight little pale color to the back. And I'm not going to go to the edges. I just want to go in the middle, like so. Just very faint. And then I'm going to add my Merry, centering this. And I'm going to be careful. I'm not going to press down on my Merry. I'm going to leave it open a little bit because we're going to tuck our snowbanks under here. Just add a little adhesive behind both of them. And we are going to add our snowbanks. There's some dotted detail on our left layer oval. I'm going to go up to that dotted detail. And then once you're happy with the placement, you can commit and press down on your Merry and press down on your snowbanks. I'm going to remove the release paper off of our trees. And we will add these. And tuck that one just under our snowbank so you can see the snowbank. Now I'm putting my trees a little bit to the left, not too much, but I did that because I have our little bow. For this bow, I'm going to add a little dot of glue just above the Y, and I'm going to keep my bow white again, and I'm going to add this at an angle at the very end of our snowbank there, just for a playful look. Now I'm going to flip this over. We're going to add some foam adhesive behind here. And now we need a few bells and whistles. To bring the snowiness a little bit more to life, I'm going to bring in some stickles. This is frosted lace. I'm going to go over the tree tops. Frosted lace is really nice because it's almost on the white side. But it looks just like snow. We'll put that on the very top of the trees. And then I'm going to add some down the middle of our Merry. And then, I love the way this looks. Lastly, of course, we got to add some sparkles. So I'm going to use the Papertrey Ink Rainbow Gems. And we're going to add just a few. I'm going to add some to my pink tree here. Like so, just the bow center. Not too much sparkle. And that finishes off my card today using the Papertrey Ink brand new Trees of Cheer die set and also the Geometric Snowflake Stencil. Have a wonderful day. I thank you so much for joining me, and we will see you again real soon. Bye-bye.